Good morning, everyone. It's Joker, and today we are back with another slime video. And with the Mirai showcase out of the way, it is now time to take a look at the new Protector, Idol Rimuru, Chancellor Idol Rimuru, and what exactly he does for, the Idol team and the game as a whole, which he does bring a very interesting new mechanic to the game, which is the invincibility feature. So taking a look at him, he increases damage done by Pretty Sparkle Force characters to space enemies by 60%, and then generically gives all magic characters a 20% attack and defense buff. And then, at the beginning of each turn, from turn 2 onward, you decrease the skill cost by 10 for allies in the front line. So it's not a full-on skill reset like, Vengeance Velzard, or Earth Benimaru, or Dark Veldora, because that is lowering skills by 20 points every time you use them. But this is a passive 10-point reduction, so every 2 turns you are able to use another skill at minimum cost, as long as they stay up front. Otherwise, they don't get the reduction, because it doesn't hit the back line. So, in theory, you could use a 25-point skill, and that would become a 45-point skill on turn 3, or after you use it. And then on turn 3, it's now a 35-point skill. And on turn 4, it's back down to a 25-point skill. So it's interesting that he passively lowers it. Is it super useful? You do have to play around with it. You do have to consciously keep units up front if you want to get that reduction. But it does keep things, a little bit more manageable, I guess, in terms of using multiple skills back to back, because at least they'll be lower cost. So it's cool. His actual protection skill changes 3 oranges and 3 blues into 6 greens, so he's another triple green converter, just like Guy, or Frey, or Bride Shizu. He gives Pretty Sparkle allies 100% invincibility for 1 turn. Now this is very important. It is only Pretty Sparkle characters, which there's not a lot of them. And of the few that there are, they're not, I would say, that great. So, he would give any of these characters invincibility for 1 turn if they're in the front line. Obviously, Mirai, brand new unit, pretty good. Bride Shuna, very good unit. Dark Milim, pretty good unit. The new Tsubasa, not a terrible unit for a free-to-play character. And then the rest of them have, situational uses here and there. But it's only for these, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 characters. It's not a really big pool for invincibility, because if you're not on it, you don't get it. So that's the only unfortunate thing about it. But, okay, that didn't actually work. Oh well. But then, on top of the orb changing and the invincibility, he also generically stacks magic attack every time you use them by 12% until the end of battle. So this is triple orb changing, temporary invincibility, and stacking damage buff. It's like 3 metas combined into 1, right? Because, this is a defense meta, this is a stacking meta, this is what you would consider a burst team meta. So he's 3 different protectors rolled into 1. Now, does that make him a jack of all trades and a master of none? Or does that make him terribly weird and funky to use, like the Earth 2.0 team, where they try to roll a bunch of stuff into 1 team and it didn't really work that well? I think it makes him more of a jack of all trades, master of none character than anything else. I think he'll be good for this meta. Outside of this meta, because Pretty Sparkle is just not a very strong force, I don't really think he's going to see that much use. Because if you're going to stack magic attack, if you're going to attempt to stack anything, you might as well just use a goddamn stacking team. And we do have a stacking green protector called Veldora, who gives up to 70% magic attack, and resets your skill costs, and increases your skill cap, which is, I think, a lot more than what he's doing right here as far as a stacking team is concerned. But let's go ahead and try him out. Okay, so for the first showcase for Rimuru, we're going to use this team. We've got Dark Milim, she's on Pretty Sparkle. We've got Tsubasa Mirai, obviously the idols. We've got Octogram Lumi for the permanent alt buff alongside the Dark Milim alt buff. And then we've got the 2nd anniversary Shizu, who is able to reset all of our skill costs once, even though we already have Rimuru doing it passively. This is like, hurry up and do it again. also is able to rush the alts for Mirai, really. And then also give us a 25% ult resistance down for 2 turns. So we could put it on early and still have it there for the big time nuke. So let's see how this works out. Alright, so you may have noticed that apart from like the Mirai showcases, we are not using a unit that has the green buff. We don't have Isis, we don't have Rain. So that's going to make gaining protection gauge for Rimuru a little bit more slow. But that will actually probably put more priority onto Mirai's future green orbs in case we don't or can't use Rimuru for whatever turn. So we'll use the orb change here, and then we'll go ahead and bring in Mirai, and we'll bring in Tsubasa, because Mirai has Earth Mirror attached to her, so they're both giving turn 2 protection. Tsubasa has Blanc, who's giving turn 2 protection. Lumi is giving protection gauge for the first 3 turns, so I mean this will get us quite a bit of protector going into turn 2, alongside a Rimuru, plus 81 points. Milim's orb change gives you extra point gain for the rest of the fight, versus like a traditional 10% across the board gauge increase that some of the other units are doing. Tsubasa, actually, hold on, I think gives 20... yeah, up to 20% skill point gain for 1 turn. Whereas, yeah, Milim is, yeah, permanent skill point increase, which one could argue is a little bit better. So, we have 81 points. We have a perfect orb change hand for Rimuru. So let's go ahead and use a stack of the alt buff. And then let's use the live mode. Because next turn, we're gonna have another Protector Rimuru, so we're not really gonna... that's not gonna matter too much. And then, I want to leave Lumi up front, because now her skill is 45 points. This skill is 45 points. When next turn rolls in, these are gonna be 35, because they're going to be reduced by 10. If we had left Dark Milim up front going into turn 2, that would have already been 35 points, so then on turn 3 it would have been back down to its base cost, which would have been nice, but we need these units up front more than anything else. Well, actually, we don't really need Tsubasa, so actually, let's get Milim in for Tsubasa, and then we can lower her down next turn as well. So now, just Milim and just Mirai are going to have the invincibility, because Lumi is not on the Pretty Sparkle Force. But we have the live mode, which means that everybody on this front line is going to get 12% extra attack, plus the 12% magic attack that Rimuru is stacking. So now Mirai has an extra 12% magic attack because she has the earth and she has the magic attack plus 5% because of Earth Benimaru. Now 12% more, 17. And now she's going to have another 12% attack right here because we're going to send 6 live mode greens. So we're going to stack quite well here. So moving into turn 3, that's the end of Lumi's trait. So now she's free to get swapped out here. Invincibility right there, awesome, invincible, but Lumi did take damage because she does not get the invincibility buff. Alright, so here is the problem now. So let's check it out. 35, 35, 35. So all 3 of these skills were at 45 cost at the end of last turn. They've now been lowered by 10 because of Rimuru's passive ability, which is right here, where it lowers by 10 points. So that, I mean, is pretty cool right there. Is it the best use case scenario? Maybe not. But, so here, let's go ahead and use the future orbs and get rid of that. And then we can use Rimuru again to give us yet another 12% stack of magic attack, more invincibility for Milim and Mirai, and another, full hand of greens right here. And then next turn, we're guaranteed to have a full hand of greens. So actually, let's get Tsubasa in here for... No, because we want Lumi to retain the lowering of the alt damage buff. So yeah, she'll go back down to 25 points when this turn comes around right here. All right, so invincibility right there, invincible, awesome. And now, all 3 skills that were originally 45 points are back down to 25. So that's pretty cool right there. It's nice that we can passively lower it. And then Mirai's, 60-point skill is now 50. It's cool. It's cool. So let's do that. We can Well, what do we want to do here? Let's use the live mode again. I don't really need Lumi. I don't need Milim either. So let's see. What do I want to do here? What do I want to do? I think we just send these. Yeah? And then we'll save this Rimuru for next turn when we don't have the future Hand of Orbs. And we will have, you know, the lowering of the skills again by 10 points. Okay, so perfect. It's a good thing we saved that because that's not a good hand. But on the downside, we were not invincible. But we still took, you know, not a lot of damage. And Mirai is just not getting a lot of gauge. We can kind of solve that, though. So let's take Milim out for Shizu. Alright? Follow me here. We're going to Alt Rush her. So all magic character allies secrets go gauge by 30%. And then Alt Resistance down. Do we want to use that now? Sure, why not? So there's that. We can then use Rimuru to give us the invincibility, of which only now one character has that. And then we can use the future hand. Yeah, next turn. And this should get Mirai's EX ult. Okay, well, almost Mirai's EX ult. But we have, you know, future hand. We've got another Rimuru. And we're only on turn 5. So it works out. So there's another ult for Lumi. All right, there's a seal right there. Invincible, not invincible, not invincible. Turn 6, we have the live mode. We have this buff again, so let's go ahead and do that. And how much are we up to? 60 or 80? 60%. So we need to use one more use of that. Okay, so let's... We only have 24 points. Unfortunate. Okay. And we don't have... we don't have any... we don't have any orbs for Mirai. That's typical, I guess, of my luck, right? Okay. So 46,000. No Mirai orbs. We don't have Tsubasa up front. We're not doing a whole butt ton of damage here. 15k. That's quite a bit of damage because again, you know, we didn't have the invincibility and you wouldn't have gotten it anyways. All right, 4. Are you kidding me right now? All right, let's rush it again, and then let's, you know what? Let's lower the cost of everything. Boom. Okay, let's do that. Okay, so that's the last buff right there that we need. But we don't have any points, and we have 4 blues, so that actually didn't work, so fuck me. Okay, after many attempts, we are back on turn 7. Things are looking up. We have a full hand of greens. We have the EX ult ready to go. We've gotten, you know, quite a few stacks on this. We are all done using Lumi's permanent buffs, and we will have enough points next turn to use the Tsubasa buff plus the Milim buff. And that's the most important thing. So we'll go ahead and just kind of send this as it is. And then next turn, we'll be looking pretty good. We'll actually have 2 stacks here as well, I believe. Because we're going to get a little bit from the trait as well. Which begs the question, do we bring you in now? Do we bring you in now for somebody that's important, that's going to die here if they take that ult? I think we go ahead and send it. And if it doesn't work, then I'm just going to hate life a little bit. Alright, 45,000. Alright, cool. Please don't kill anybody. Please don't kill anybody. Please don't kill anybody. Please don't. Go. Oh! Why? Why? Like, yes, she lived, but why? Why did you double follow up on her? Alright. Doesn't matter. We got what we need. So let's use the 55-point alt buff. Good. So now we're up to, what, 80 plus 70? So 160, 150% alt damage. All right, cool. And then we'll bring you in for Milim. And then we'll bring you in for Lumi, since she's not necessary anymore either. So now we have 45 points to use the... Oh, I didn't use the alt resistance down last turn. Alright, you know what? I'm tired of doing this run. Whatever. So we lost 25% alt resistance down. My bad. It is what it is. I don't want to do this run over again. But here we go. 2 more stacks of Rimuru, so that's an extra 24% magic attack. So what are the final numbers here? So 80 plus 70, and then we've got 52% attack, 77% magic damage, normal attack 60%, and then we've got the defense down from the trait. And what do? You are just damage. Okay, you don't really matter. So let's go ahead and send the normals, right? Since we have actually a full hand. And let's see how much this does. Shizu, I don't care. 124k. 41k on the normals. Alright, it's not great, but whatever. And then the alt does 754. So with the 25% resistance down, we would have broken like 800 something thousand right there. Pretty good. Maybe a bit more. Okay, so I mean, you can sweat, and you can definitely, like, you can hit 1 million with this team if you've got full dupes and everything works out for you. You can hit 1 million. Is that really the point of this team? I mean, yes and no. But, alright, so that's Rimuru leading a very sweaty, kind of high damage attempt on the Idol team. Let's take him off the Idol team altogether, where no one has invincibility, and see how well he works. Alright, next we're going to put Rimuru leading the Earth 2.0 team, or a version of it. So this is a full magic team, so they will at least get the stacking magic attack buffs. We have many orb changers here. We've got Aaron, Trya, and Isis, who's also got the green buff, so I mean, that's good. Rimuru is going to be resetting a lot of the skills, over time, which this team doesn't have a lot of big-time skills to use. It just has, the 55-point stat swap ability, which will come in handy on a long team, especially since her stat swap alongside the stacking magic, alongside the earth damage buff, could actually result in a decent number, especially since this Mirren is skill fused, and the irony is not lost on me that I'm doing this, and her skill fusion video has been continually pushed back for the past month and a half in YouTube, and I've just never dropped it. So a little precursor, I guess, to what you'll see in that video. Hilarious, I know, but it is what it is. So I mean, this team in theory should run efficiently, but let's see how efficiently. Alright, so turn 1, we've got the Aaron orb change. We're not using the skill point units, so we can't use the Isis buff quite yet, which is fine. We'll take Trya out, and we'll take Isis out of here, so we just have a front line of Earth units, and, we'll look pretty good for now as far as tanking. Defense abilities here, nothing, because none of these units are on Pretty Sparkle. We do not get the invincibility here, which is kind of unfortunate. But we are going to be able to full orb change, so maybe bringing 3 orb changers is a little bit of overkill. Maybe. But we can go ahead and put the, the extra HP and crit resistance up. We're going to heal. We're going to cut his alt damage down, or everybody's alt damage down. And we're going to continuous heal as well on top of that. Yeah, and then we'll get a magic attack for everybody. So there we go. So we've got a lot of defense going on. We've cut his pierce power, which is not piercing, but we've put our alt resistance up. We've stacked some magic attack. We've got a full hand of greens. We've got another Protector Rimuru next turn. I don't know why I'm still hitting Velzard, but we are. I should be hitting Leon. Okay, guarded that hit. All right. So, counter there. 300 damage, 400 damage, 900. How much does Leon do? 1,300? That's not bad. We'll heal it all back. Boom. There we go. And then we've got, not a great hand, but we have, reset Aaron's skill cost down because she's been up front for 2 turns, which means that we can just do this again. Ooh, fancy. And then we can just do this again. And we haven't even used the Isis buff or anything from Trya, and we might as well just run with these front 3, and, we're able to do it with just these front 3, then great. Let's hit Leon now. Switch that up. Yeah, I mean, this is actually super efficient. for all intents and purposes. Okay, I love the counters, though. Thanks a bunch. We've got orb changing covered. We've got healing and defense covered. We've got, the stacking magic damage covered. None of these characters are EX, so I don't really care. 1300 damage, and we're going to heal that back anyways because the continuous heal. Boom. And then the frostbite kind of takes it down. But now, most of our skills have been reset, and we can continuous heal again. We can give ourselves the HP buff and the crit resistance again. And we don't even need to use Rimuru here because we got a full hand of greens. I mean, we could, definitely, and get another stack of magic attack. We don't really need to, though. I guess we'll just reapply this and we'll heal and for funsies because we got nothing else to do with our points. And we'll go ahead and send this. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And the next turn, if we don't have good RNG, we have Rimuru to, change our orbs. And we'll probably be okay. 19,000, all right. She's passively been getting, magic attack stacks. Trainee, 34k. All right. Mirren might actually kill. Okay, 37, maybe not. If we had stat swapped, he would have killed. Okay. So this is actually pretty efficient. I'm happy with this team as setup. Is it better than the Benimaru setup? Actually, I kind of think so. I do actually think that this is better than running Benimaru, because Benimaru doesn't have built-in orb changing, which is important. So, we've lowered back down. We have these 2 blue orbs, so we might as well just bring you in for Aaron. She only has 1 orb, sure. And then we'll go ahead and use the buffs from Isis. Cool. And there we go. And then, I mean, Leon's almost dead, so we'll hit you over here. And we'll attempt to get, we got a double stack of Rimuru next turn? Sure, why not? We'll just keep it here. Okay, 7,000. Mirren's doing 16k. Alright, cheeky counter, because, why not? This does 1,500 damage to the earth units. 2,000. And then the continuous heal. And, they're almost dead. We're on turn 6. And look at that. We have double Protector Rimuru. So, I mean, this team runs very well. Surprisingly. Actually, unsurprisingly. Rimuru is a pretty good protector, I would say. It's just that if you're really trying to make use of all 3 of his abilities in an efficient format, it's very difficult, because pretty Sparkle characters are far and few between. So that, I think, is the only real unfortunate aspect to him. But if you're trying to do this, then it can very well work. You know what? Let's I think they're gonna die regardless, and I kind of need the mirror and all. I mean, yeah, sure. We'll stat swap now. Why not, for funsies? And we'll just have Trainee kill everything. We'll do a double stack of Rimuru, so that's another 24% magic. So we'll check out exactly what we're sitting at after this second application. And now we've got 53% magic attack. We've got the stat swaps. Now we have 14.4k attack. And we've got the earth attack for 60%. And we're going to murderize this team because it's just very well-rounded, right? Trainee does 88k, which, for Trainee, in a very defensive-oriented team, and a team with, no big-time ult or attack buffs, that's respectable damage. Okay. I mean, this worked very well. This worked very, very efficiently. So let's try something else. Alright, for the final section of the video, because we're already getting kind of long in the tooth for the video, we're going to be buffing the Space 3.0-ish team. So we've got the orb changing that the team wants into greens. We're going to go into the Space 2.0 stage, though, so maybe not the best thing, but we don't have their beatdown battle for Space 3.0, so this is the next best thing. But we have a full magic team, which means that we will benefit from the magic stacks. We will have skill resetting, which will be, cool for this team, because we do have a lot of charm effects going on, which will give us a lot of alt gauge. and a lot of low, kind of very cheap buffs coming off of most of these characters, except for Milim and Shinsha. But Milim's space buff we can hold onto in the back, at least on Xion, and she'll do the bulk of the damage. So, I mean, again, in theory, this should work just fine. It's just that I don't have a set starting hand, so we'll be right back. Alright, and this is the best we're going to get. I swapped out Space Milim for Space Violet because I got tired of trying to get the RNG with a Shinsha orb change, so I figured if we can get 5 or 6 blues, that's enough to get us the Protector for turn 2. So look at that. We have it. So we're going to bring you in for, Xion, and we're just going to send this. So we've got our orb changer for greens, orb changer for blues, our DPS. They're going to be locked in after this turn ends because of the bind. But we have Rimuru, who's going to reset that orb change for Violet slowly but surely. And I mean, it should work. We'll get stacking space or magic attack, which we're gonna miss the space attack with Milim, but we're gonna get an 80% magic buff with Violet on top of everything else that we're gonna be stacking up. So I mean, it should work, right? So let's do this charm, and then we'll give the Pierce buff for Xion. And yeah, that's all of her points. So now we can full orb change out of this into greens. We'll have a bunch of points next turn. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, plus another protector. We're gonna be binded in for one more turn as well, but we do have another protector, so I mean, it works out. There's one stack of magic buff. Okay, that's not a hand I want to see. Game. Thanks a literal butt ton. But I guess we can just do this and get 5 blues again. It's not going to do that much, but when life gives you lemons, you make blue orbs. You make blue lemonade. I guess is how we'll put that out. That was a terrible analogy. What the fuck am I talking about? Anyways, moving on. Sufia's got an ult. Okay, that's cool. I don't really care. But now we're not binded anymore, which makes things much, much easier to do. So let's put a charm there. So 1 charm. Let's put a charm there. And then we'll take Sufia out for Shinsha, and we'll put a charm on you. Everybody's got charms, so that's 45% extra alt gauge next turn that we're going to get. And then a 30% for 2 more turns after that, because Sufia's only lasts 1 turn. So, good damage here. Another stack of magic buff. Excellent. The Pierce buff is about to wear off on Xion, but next turn it's going to be back down to normal cost, which means we can just use it again for 15 points. So, and we'll be a little bit stronger because we've gotten a few extra stacks out of it too. So it works out fairly well. And let's see. All right. Oh yeah, Shinsha is on Pretty Sparkle, so she was invincible right there. All right, I forgot about that. Okay, let's do the magic buff. Put it on both Violet and Xion. We can get both of them out of here now, and then we can save their buffs in the back. They're not going to get this stack of magic attack, unfortunately, but I do want to send this more than anything else. And yes, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There we go. That's what we'll do. So Sufia, 14.6k. All right, not too great. She did get at least what 2 stacks of the magic buff because of the 2 turns that she was locked in. So I mean, it's not bad right there. All right, Shinsha is invincible. So hopefully, okay, they didn't ult Shinsha, but oh well. But that attack is invincible. Alt gauge, everybody, well, almost everybody's got alts. 72 points. And, I mean, we can nuke here. So let's go ahead and put the alt damage and magic resistance down, or space resistance down on Milim. And then we'll bring in Xion for Sufia. And then we'll bring Violet in for Shizu, who still is not doing that much here. So, another stack of magic, we've got 17 points, so we can use Shion's buff again. And yeah, I mean, we can full on nuke. So we'll do the AoE nuke. We'll make sure that Milim is dead, and then we'll send this on Lumi to hopefully kill her so she can't heal. And that should just leave Dino with, you know, a good amount of HP left, but he'll be the only one, hopefully. So Shion right here does... Oh, she just wipes. Never mind. Goodbye. Okay, well, everybody's dead. That was EX5, right? Was that EX5? That was a Platinum Hammer stage. EX3? Does it go up to 5 yet? No, it's only... Okay, EX3, but still, I actually didn't expect Shion to wipe there. I mean, she had 3 or 4 stacks of Rimuru. She had the big 80 time 100% magic buff, which, you know, is big time, and it does stack on top of the permanent buff that we got from Rimuru, plus the attack and pierce, so... Or pierce and pierce power. Okay, I mean, good damage. It was like, what, 5 turns right there? Not bad. But I think we can end the initial showcase for Rimuru there. We are definitely going to do more showcases for all of the Idol girls, because, you know, they're collab units. We'll take them on a world tour on Conquest for, you know, people who are just starting the game and we're like, I got everybody first multi, are they good? Well, let's find out. Let's take them in through the beginning stages of Conquest and see how well they fare. But Rimuru as a whole, like, he is a good protector. Let's not be mistaken there. Triple orb changing is very strong, regardless of what it is. As long as it's a green stage, then you can get benefit out of that. The magic buff, also good. It kind of, you know, makes you want to lean towards a magic team, but that's no different than Frey, who is triple changing to greens and then giving physical people crit. Like, you don't want to take that into a stage that has crit resistance, so that already limits your team. Just like Bride Shizu, where, you know, you are still triple orb changing and also pierce, but if you don't want to take it into a pierce stage, then you want to use someone else. Rimuru is kind of that same way, where you want to use a magic team, you want to use a crit team with Frey, you want to use a pierce team with Shizu. So it's not really that bad. And then the Pretty Sparkle, like, invincibility is cool. There aren't a lot of units that are going to benefit from it. A lot of, well, I would say good units that would benefit from it, but it is there in case you really need to whip it out. So it's like icing on top of the cake. So he's a pretty good protector for newer players, to be perfectly honest with you, because this eliminates a lot of RNG. This is a good damage buff that you can stack. You know, cool, I guess. I would give him like an 8. An 8. I think is a fair range for him. But let me know your thoughts in the comments below. That's it for me, guys. Take it easy, and I'll see you all later.